Hi, this is Chrissy Green here with a video tutorial for the Photography for Beginners business group. And actually, I may post this in the portrait group as well, since it does apply to portrait photography. I made a post in the business group today asking for someone to send me an ugly ad that they were working on. Um, One thing that tends to get overlooked is you can have great pictures, you can have a lot of people on your Facebook group, but when it comes to drawing in new clientele, if you're weak in ad creating, um, it's not going to help you. Creating an ad should be a powerful tool to get people to want to know more, to make them click through to your website or to your Facebook page, and not just kind of scroll by it. And if your ad is weak, then you're not going to get those clicks that you need to get your work in front of people. So I see ads a lot of times and I kind of cringe thinking it could be better. It could be more effective than what I'm seeking. So Jennifer was kind enough to let me play with her ad. Um, and she was more than willing to let me publicly say this is an ugly ad. It's actually not that bad, but I mean it from a design standpoint, there's a lot on this ad that needs to go and a lot that needs to change. So this is the ad that she sent me. Um, right away, I can tell that the images were stretched. They're wider than they were when they were taken. Um, doesn't really make the subjects look very flattering. And if you're a body conscious teen looking at this, you're going to think, well, I don't think she's going to make me look very good, or I don't think he's going to make me look very good. You really want your model in these pictures to look great, and stretching them width-wise so that they look wider than they really are isn't going to do that. So that's my first critique on that. Um, Also, anytime you're working on a design, try to stay away from putting things in all four corners. The instinct there is to give it a rounded out look, but that's sort of dated, more of an 80s fad. So don't put things in all four corners. Just never. More effective is to stick with one picture that you can display large, as opposed to four little ones that, when this is, shrunk down in a Facebook feed, and it's about that size. Are you really going to notice whether or not the pictures are great? Um, so I would say eliminate three pictures and just stick with one. As for the type, it has a very default look as far as the spacing goes. And when I show you my design on this, I'll show you actually how you can use Photoshop's character tool menu, which is right here, to customize your text to get a cleaner, more professional look. Um, so yeah, I think I'm going to just scrap this and go over to the one that I've been working on. So this is my take on the same ad. You can see that it looks a lot different. Um, I've got one main image, and while on here it looks blurry, that's because I was just expanding on her image that I took from her file. You would, of course, make sure that the image you put here is 100% perfectly focused. I did bring him in a little. He was stretched really wide, so when I resized this, I gave him a better proportion. One thing I want to point out is that if your ad doesn't have a specific call to action, then you're missing out on a really powerful marketing tool. And what a call to action is that little thing in an ad that gives you the sense of urgency, that sense of I need to call now. And in this instance, what I put in was book before April 1st and receive a bonus $50 print credit. And again, that just gets people to have a date in mind. I need to call before this date, or I need to book early. It could even be something as simple as sessions are limited in quantity. And what that call to action does is make people feel like if they wait too long, they're going to miss. And the reason I put it down here is because I was working with the picture I have, and you always want to look at your portrait that you're using and see where your eye goes. And you start here, but then you're naturally going to follow his hand to see what he's pointing at. And in this ad, he is pointing right at your call to action. That's one of the most important things. That's what I put there. You may decide that your logo would be more important than a call to action, and you're more than welcome to put a logo there or your business name. The next thing I wanted to do on her ad, her wording was 2 packages to choose from, starting at $100. I didn't really like that wording because I think it could just be simply packages starting from 99, and I picked 99 instead of 100 because it just sounds better. But packages starting from, nice and big, that's an eye catcher right there. Below that, put your sexy logo. Leave lots of breathing room around your sexy logo so that it can be on its own. Um, Contact info doesn't have to be big. If people like your picture, they will look down on the fine print to find out your phone number or your website address or your Facebook name. Now booking for, and instead of having all of the verbiage that she had, whatever this writing was, I'm too lazy to read it, people are too lazy to read it, we don't care what that says. Just something simple here. And you can see it looks really crowded, and that's because I just typed this out default spacing. It could very well be an essay you're typing for all of the way it looks. So I want to show you how to actually make that look a little bit neater and separate it from my now booking line. So if I double click on that, I can highlight it. I'm going to click on this little letter A there. And if you don't see the letter A, you can just go up to Window, and it would be, usually it's Character. There we go. And it opens up the letter A for you. From here, I can adjust the size of my type just by clicking in here, up and down. Um, Mainly what I'm concerned about for this is this here, which is my line spacing. And if I just bring that number down, you can see it brings that text up. And if I say OK, just so you can see that, you can see this now looks like its own little piece of information. It's not colliding with the now booking for, it's not taking up too much room. Looks a lot neater. That's the bonus with this panel here, is you get away from things that look too default. Another little trick is you can tweak these lines. I don't like how the for more information looks just a bit too long. So I can actually go in and highlight only that line. And this here one that looks like a VA, this is your letter spacing. And it gives you some options. So if I say -5, you can see it brings that line in just a little bit. I can go even further. And, just glancing at it, it doesn't look like I've done anything to it. The letters aren't looking too smooshed up or anything like that. But what it does is it brings that line in so it's not dangling out too far in the paragraph. So now I've shown you how to just kind of customize your own text there. So this is my finished ad. I did keep her background bokeh there, but I found at 100% it was just too much. It was competing with the image. So I put it over top of a blue layer. Um, I just picked a shade of blue out of his jeans, I think. And when I put the bokeh on top of that and lowered the opacity, it lets some of the blue shine through. It's no longer competing with the image, but it does still give just a little bit of interest behind the type. And with my last 20 seconds, pay attention to how things are lined up. You always want to make sure that you have good alignment. So you see everything in this banner lines up there, it all lines up at the bottom. It just gives it a nice polished professional look. So anyway, I hope that helped. Have a great night, guys. Bye-bye.